Hi there, families. I'm so glad that you're joining me for today's art lesson. So I just want to give you a couple of reminders before we get started. Reminder number one is that we can always pause or rewind the video when we need to. If you feel like your scholars maybe missed something or you just want to go back and double check, pausing and rewinding are great tools. The other thing that we need to remember is that we can always break up our AMP videos into smaller pieces. So if you want to do this alongside your scholar, but you need to break it up into maybe 2 or 3 sittings, you're always welcome to do that. So now let's get started.
Okay, scholars, so before we start today's art video, let's make sure that we have all our materials. Make sure you have your piece of paper and that it's turned long ways, just like mine. Make sure you also have your crayons or your colors, whatever you have. And we're just gonna leave those off to the side because we don't need them right now. And make sure that you have your pencil and eraser. Once you have all of those things, the very first thing that we should do is write our name. While we write our name, let me explain what we're going to be making today. Remember, our name should be small and in the corner so it doesn't get in our way. So today we're going to be making an outer space scene. Now in outer space we know that there's planets, we know that there's clouds and stars and asteroids and the sun, so there's a lot of things that go into outer space. We're going to choose a few of those things and we're going to change the sizes of them. And when we change the sizes, that means that we're going to make our picture look like it's really, really deep. Kind of like if you were looking into outer space through a telescope. So it's really, really fun. And what's going to be even cooler is you're going to see how you can change how things look, and you can kind of trick your brain and your eyes whenever you make something a different size. Okay? So let's start off with making our Earth. Last week we had Earth Day, so I want to start with Earth. I want you to go to the bottom half of your paper. So that's like from here and down. And what I want you to do is I want you to go to this corner and I want you to take your finger, it's going to help me, and go up until about there. Once you are there, we don't want to go halfway, we want to kind of stop in between. We're going to make our Earth, and our Earth we know is like a sphere, which means it's like a 3D circle. Now, we can't make a 3D circle on here, but we can pretend and trick our eyes into thinking that we have one. So I'm going to start where my finger is, and I'm going to sketch, remember those soft lines. And then when I get halfway, I want you to take your finger and just move it right onto the other side so that you know where you're going to end. Now I know this doesn't look like a circle. Oops, I messed up a little bit, but that's okay. I know this doesn't look like a circle, but it looks like a half circle, like the top half of the Earth. Whenever we have the top half of the Earth, that's right down here in this picture, it makes it look like we are right in front of it, okay? So now that we have the shape of our Earth, we know that our Earth also has land, and we know that it has the ocean. So let's go ahead and draw some countries and continents so that our Earth looks a little bit more detailed. So I think I'm going to start maybe by drawing the United States. I'm not that good at drawing the United States, but we'll try and make it work. And it's okay if you're not so good at drawing countries either. I'm not 100% sure on what everything is going to look like when I put it together, but we just kind of want to make it look close. Plus, countries are all sorts of shapes, so it doesn't have to be perfect, right? So I drew all the countries that I wanted to. I think maybe I'll add just one more all the way up here. And now our Earth is done for right now. We're not going to use the colors just yet. Remember, we're going to save that for later. So now I want you to scoot your page down. Since our Earth took up the whole bottom half, now we're going to go to the top half of our paper. Let me scoot it to me. And I want you to take your finger and see how I put it kind of in the middle of my line right here. I want you to take it and move it up till you get right about here. Our finger is going to be where we stop for the bottom of our sun. So now you can see I'm making another circle. This is actually going to be an entire circle because it's going to be our sun. Remember, our sun is also a sphere. It is also a 3D circle. So that means that I need to draw all of it. I also need to draw all of it because it's very far away from us. So even though the sun is bigger than the Earth, we are going to make it look like our Earth is like 100 times bigger than our sun. Remember, we can do that because we moved it up and we made it smaller. Capiche? So now, scholars, we're not gonna mess with our sun too much. Our sun, it never really has a lot of detail. It's kind of just like this big old fireball. So now let's move to the middle portion. See how I have this big gap between my Earth and my sun? Well, we're gonna fill that up with a bunch of stars and clouds and different things like that. So let's start off with our clouds. I want you to take your eraser and just go like this with your eraser. Everywhere that your eraser lands, that's where our clouds are going to sit. And remember, our Earth and our clouds are going to be the biggest thing in this picture. So really, don't be afraid to make your clouds really big. And you can do as many clouds as you want. You just want to make sure that they are close to the Earth, just like our clouds, how they're super duper close. And you want to make sure that you fill up as much of this space as you can. I think that's where I want to stop right now for my clouds. And now, if you're not caught up, remember you can pause, but I'm going to move on to my stars. So, since my clouds ended right about here, my stars are going to start right here on top of my pencil. My stars are going to reach all the way to my sun and fill up all of this empty space that's also over here. Okay? So, remember, since our big stuff is closer to me, we're going to start off with some big stars. Now, these big stars are going to get smaller and smaller and smaller until we reach the top. So let me kind of think about where I want my big stars to be. Well, since I'm going to use my little stars up here, do I want my big stars up here next to my sun? No, I don't think so either. So I'm going to stick my big stars right here, really close to my clouds. And I think I want to do 6 big stars. You can make your stars like this, like the triangle pattern that we're used to. You can make your stars like this that are just lines. That's a-okay too. I think I'm going to stick with the triangle pattern because it's easier for me, but you can choose how you want to do it. And make sure that your stars are a little bit spread out so that you have some room for your colors later, okay? I'm just going to add 2 more stars. Now I'm going to move on to my medium stars. My medium stars are going to fill up a few of these empty spots right here, but they're not going to be at the top. Remember, we talked about saving the top for our really tiny stars? So let's use our medium ones, just a few out here. I think I'm going to let's try and do 5 medium stars. Okay, I've got my 5 stars. Now I want to do my little stars. Because my little stars are going to be so small, you can pretty much add as many as you want. You just don't want them to get so cramped and tiny that you have no more room, okay? So make sure that you leave a little bit of room so that you're not struggling for space later. Remember, my tiny stars will go all the way up here, really close to the sun, even close to my name. I think I'll just add one more right here. So now we can see that I have my really big stars, how they turn into medium stars, and then I finish out with all my tiny ones right up here at the top. Now, let's check. I think I have a little bit of extra room right here and right here. So I'm gonna add just 2 more big stars. If you already used up all your room, you don't need to do this part. But if you say, hey, you know what, I got a little bit of room too, you can add some extra little stars up here, or you can add some big stars down here. Okay, scholars, if you want to go ahead and pause this video so you can catch up, that is a-okay. But for now, we are going to move on to our coloring portion. Now, I know usually you guys get to color all on your own, but I want to show you a really cool trick that will help your outer space look like you are getting farther and farther away. Okay? So let me make sure I have all the right colors first. The very first color you're gonna need is a very light blue. I'll show you the color of my light blue. It's this one right here. If you don't have this color, that's a-okay. You can take a regular blue and you can just be gentle with it. If you are gentle with it, it comes out like you have a light blue crayon. So I'm going to use the light blue that I have, but if you don't have it, just grab your regular blue and be gentle. So we know that the sky on top of us is a very light baby blue, right? So instead of writing really hard, I'm going to turn my pencil, or excuse me, I'm going to turn my crayon so it looks like this. Turn it, and I'm going to be super gentle and make the sky on top and around my clouds. I want you to take a look at where my sky is stopping. So my sky is not touching my stars because the stars are closer to the dark parts of space. As you get farther and farther into space, all of the sky and the space in general gets very dark. So the stars, they help us out and they make things light, but they live in the dark. So I don't want my light blue to touch my stars. Capiche? So now we're going to do something called a gradient. Can we try saying the word gradient? Nice work. So our gradient, we're going to take now a dark blue. Let me show you the color of my dark blue. I think I have, that one's kind of in between, so I'm going to use this one. That's my dark blue. And a gradient means that we go from light to dark. Can you say that for me? Light to dark. Good job. So now, since I already did my light, let's go with our medium blue. And it's okay if your medium blue and your light blue touch. Your medium blue is going to start to go around your big stars. So your medium blue, it does not touch your little stars. It only touches your big stars and maybe some of the medium ones that you made. And also remember, skies, they don't really have any shape. So if you get a little bit messy with it, that's a-okay. Remember, families, I'm trying to do this quick for everybody. So if you need to hit pause so that you can maybe do your gradients a little bit better, or you just want to take some more time to do something, that's a-okay too. Okay, so now I've got my light blue and it turned into my medium blue. Now what I need you to do is grab your yellow. Your yellow, it can be used for the stars, but right now we're going to use it for our sun. So I have 2 yellows. If you just have a regular bright yellow, that's a-okay. I've got this yellow that's kind of like orange and yellow put together. So I think I'm going to use this one so that you guys can see it better. And I'm just going to make a hard, dark circle so that I can see my sun really, really clearly. My sun is super duper bright. Remember, it's like a big ball of fire. So I want to make sure that it doesn't get lost in all of the blue and all of the stars. And then instead of coloring it in, what I want to do is make the rays. We know our sun has rays, and it's going to be very, very close to our sun. Just like when we made our light blue close to the earth, we're going to make our yellow close to the sun. And it's okay if our yellow is a little bit messy. Rays, they don't have really, really harsh shapes. They just kind of shoot out wherever. Make sure you try and get all the way around your sun. Now, because our sun is super far away, our rays are going to be short rays. They're not going to be big, big rays that are going all over the place. They're very, very short, and they stay close to the sun. Capiche? So now we have our rays. And our rays are going to be surrounded by a really, really dark part of space. The dark part of space is black. If you have black, I want you to go ahead and grab it. If you don't have black, you can just use a pencil. A pencil works just fine. Gray and black are super close, so a pencil is good too. I'm going to take my black, and I'm actually going to start at the top. All of my small stars are going to be surrounded by the black. And I'm going to try and reach all the way to that dark blue that I put on there. It's okay if your black hits some of your sun rays. We just don't want to draw really hard over the sun so that it stays nice and bright. And remember, scholars, you don't want to push too hard, because if you push too hard and you mess up, it's going to be really, really hard to fix it, okay? Then, scholars, we're going to try and blend these colors a little bit better. So I'm going to grab that blue that I had, and I'm going to take it even farther up and kind of mix it with some of my black so that it looks like the blue is really, really turning into the black. If you use your pencil, the blue is going to look like it's turning into the gray, and it's really, really cool. And then I want you to go back to your light blue, and I want you to take your light blue and let it blend with the dark blue. Okay, scholars, now when we look at our entire picture, we can see how since our Earth is super close, it looks like it's right here in front of our eyes, and since our sun is small and way up high, it looks like it's way far away. And then our colors helped make that even better. Okay? All right, families. You now have the time to finish coloring your land, your ocean, your stars, get everything finished up, and I'm excited to see everybody's. Bye!